morning and welcome back to the channel. It's another beautiful day today. We've got all of the bottom portions of our A-frames complete, and now it's time to get started on the tops.
This morning we got our template laid out. We have to recreate this about 26 times. We also made a template for a new, basically what's a king stud. It's not really technically a king stud, but we're going to use this to tie both sides together as well as screws in from both sides. As for the king studs though, we're only going to use them on the ends and in the center. And the reason for that is when I blow in the cellulose insulation, I'm going to need this opening opened up so that I can feed the hose back through to blow in insulation both ways to fill the cavity. And if I had the king stud running all the way down like this in every A-frame, I wouldn't be able to fish the hose through. I'm pretty sure it won't fit through this little spot here. First thing we gotta do for today is cut a bunch of lumber. We're gonna try and get as many of these cut out as we can and go from there.
Before we can take all of our upper A's up top and install them, we have to install our next row of blocking. So Chris is going to head up the ladder and do that now. So maybe that's actually... I think that's going to be our best option. This one was sitting on a screw.
We built two of the top A-frames, and what we want to do before we cut out all of the lumber for these long 12-foot sections, we want to take two of these sections up there and put them in place and make sure that it's perfectly correct and that we're not ruining all of the other lumber before we cut it. We don't want to cut everything to the wrong dimensions. Technically it should be right because it does match our original template. However, we want to just get it up there and make sure. We'll put two sections on and brace them up, and as long as that looks like it's going to be good, we're going to make the rest down here and we should be able to just run them all. Before we do that, I'm going to put some plywood up there, that way we have a stable walking path.
What was that?
A knot of wood.
Oh, it was a whole knot that fell out.
Yeah, I'm wondering if either continue the blocking or actually put some kind of more strapping up here, kind of like we did down here.
Yeah.
It's definitely stable enough to walk on, but the higher you get, the easier it is to shake. I mean, that's probably to be expected. The blocking has to be done regardless, so we might as well just knock it out, and then we'll make sure that, because the blocking's not going to affect what if we have to change something on the A's.
No. And
So
like I said,
we'll
it
run the
probably
blocking, and then after the blocking's done, then we'll try and pull these two up here and go from there. See if we can even pull them up here.
I bet.
Yeah, man. And then also, once we get a couple on there, we'll run a couple of 2x4s all the way down.
Okay.
That way it's like really rigid.
Chris already prepped up there for the upper A-frame, so we're going to attempt to get both of these A's up there. This is plan A. We have a rope, and I'm going to be down here on the floor, and he's going to be using the rope to try and hoist the A's up there. If it doesn't work, we do have a plan B, but we're really hoping that we can go with this route because it'll save us a lot of time.
That's a like rock climbing rope.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying I didn't know if it would be lopsided.
Up down there. Just don't let it fall on you.
It's about as high as I can reach. I think it's caught on the ladder. Start going up, and you're going to start going up with me. Nice and easy. Fall right into place. I can't get any closer to the edge.
Right. Nice and steady. Not so bad.
I still feel like it's gonna tip.
No. Perfect.
Nelly, don't get under that.
Oh, it's stuck on my foot. What is that, Nelly? Is that a special delivery? The last three.
Oh, I could have stood under that one to grab it.
Oh wow, my glove's in there.
I was like,
That wasn't supposed to be in there.
we have a ton of lumber to cut, so we're gonna get started by cutting our 4-foot mending plates that go on the top of the A's. So let's go ahead and get started. So Chris and I were out here cutting some lumber for the rest of the A's, and Benelli let out a really loud bark. And we came over here to see what it was, and it's a bull moose. So I ran inside to grab my big lens. We're gonna see if we can get some shots of him. I was just about to say.
I hear him every night.
Yeah. Thing's close.
Yeah.
Normally they're not that close.
No, he's really close. He's always that close. Sometimes there's a whole pack of them out there yipping.
Well, I've heard them. I haven't heard a signal.
It's about the right time. It's 11 p.m. Like 11:08 p.m.
Yeah.
I guess he's done. He only does it like 30 seconds to a minute and then he's done.
I heard the ground crunching.
Yeah, why would he come up here when we're like making all this noise?
Yeah, but what else is it?
Huh?
I can still hear it.
Right there. You see how close he is?
Yeah, I could hear him crunching.
He's getting ready to walk right through here. Come here. He does not care one bit that we're up here working. That's so crazy.
I said 30 seconds, and he's gonna be walking right up here.
Uh-huh.
How long was that?
Why? Why would he come up here? We were
How long
just
was that?
sawing and making all that
35
racket.
seconds? Right after I just said that? As much as I don't want to say we should pack up, like, I feel like we should just grab our stuff and go in, because I have a feeling he's gonna just keep getting up closer up here.
Yeah.
So we were really trying to get a lot more cutting done tonight. It's about 11:30. This moose just keeps getting closer and closer to us. He's like 30 yards from us now, so I think we're gonna go inside for the night, make sure we're safe and away from him, because I'm pretty sure he's gonna walk either right up behind the goat pen or right up here in the driveway. That's typically where they walk through. So we're gonna head in, make sure we're away from him, and we'll get back out here in the morning.
Just like you said, he's working his way around the goat pen.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and go inside before the pork. Oh my god, look at the goats are like.
Are they looking at him? Oh yeah, they're looking at him. They're like, what is that? Look at him looking at the goats. Look how curious they are.
Oh.
I can't believe he's scared of the goats. He's going to test out your fence. Goodness, he's tall. We came out this morning and it's really breezy, so we're definitely not going to be putting any of the top A-frames on. Yesterday it was a little bit breezy and it was way too sketchy even with that little breeze, because it really gets to rocking in the breeze when you're standing them up there. So instead of working on them today, I am going to work on cutting some more lumber to get everything prepped and build some more of the upper A-frames. But first I'm going to start off with finishing off the bottoms of these A's. We were originally going to just toenail these in the middle. They're already locked in with these timber screws on both ends, so they're not going anywhere right now. But for extra wind protection and to also nail it in the middle instead of toenailing and really just destroying the board, we're going to tie it in with these steel ties, and we're going to do one of these angle braces on each side all the way down. That'll really tie it down well in the middle where the screw isn't catching. I added these structural wood screws into each one of the floor joists where they connect to the A-frame. On top of these nails, each nail is good for about 95 pounds. Each screw is good for about 1,200 pounds. So that's about a rough estimate of 4,000 pounds worth of shear strength right here. There's no way that this is ever going to come off of here. I think the only way to really go stronger is to do through bolts. And we actually did think about doing that, except there is a pretty bad shortage around here for the type of bolts that we were originally trying to buy. So we ended up going this route, and I think there's going to be plenty of strength there. A 2x10 only has 5,000 pounds of shear strength. So between this side and the other side, that's 8,000 pounds of shear strength for one joist.
I told you it's either going to be Blart or Rosie.
Why you gotta chew on that? There's so much woods out there to eat.
Oh, he found a scratching post. Look at his little tail's just going.
I'm trying to work here. You're messing up my work. Go away.
Oh, Blart. Hey.
Goodness, he's ornery.
Hey. Can I scratch your head instead of the board? Can I scratch your head instead of the board? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You just take every opportunity to get in my face, don't you? I'm busy here. Can't you tell?
What's worse, him or the goats?
Definitely him. You're the most needy critter around here. Yeah. The most needy critter.
At least he doesn't scream like the goats every time they want something.
It's gonna get loud, bud. You gotta go away. It's gonna hurt your ears.
After getting the first two A-frames on, we've really been back and forth on how we wanted to move forward with the rest of this project, and we decided to go and get more subflooring so we could do the subfloor all along the top floor. And the reason for that is I was just really not comfortable being up there installing those first two A's. We currently have two pieces of plywood up there now, one on each side, so that way we had something secure to stand on for the frames, but being able to look straight down and having a gap in between, I was just really not comfortable. And so we decided to go ahead and get our subflooring. We're going to subfloor the first half of the upper floor, put some frames on, get more of the subflooring done, and then finish all of the frames. Crashing down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to just go up there. Oh, I guess. Stay in there. got this nice platform to walk on.
Yep. Are you getting that tree? Nuts, isn't it?
Start to grab it, I can resituate. Got it? Don't drop it on me.
All of the subflooring on the upper floor has been installed with the exception of one last piece, and that's because we have the ladder going up there, and we're just going to leave that open so we can get up and down until we have a hole cut in for our steps. Right now, we're going to go ahead and get started on the rest of the A's and start getting them put up. Not anymore. That's what he was doing yesterday when I was trying to carry some of this here. You know what I mean?
We have a ton of tools and materials that we got to start hauling up there. What we're going to do is I'm going to lower a rope down, and Katie's going to fill this little firewood carrier, and I'm just going to start pulling it all to the top. And then as far as these A-frames, same thing as what we did on the first two. We're just going to pull them up one at a time and see how that goes. Hopefully we can get them all up there. Some out?
No.
Okay.
I was just trying to get the bag flat.
I don't know if I'll be able to get that. Just don't get under that.
I'm not.
I don't know if I'm going to get it past this point. Sideways like that, that ain't going to work.
Oh, hang on. It's uneven.
Yeah, that's a lot easier. Good Lord. Look out! Okay, well, this is where it gets messed up, I think.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to be able to help much longer.
There's probably no way to really set it back down now, is there?
Well, we could set it all the way down on the ground.
Laying down, walking backwards. Just tell me if I should stop.
That's all the farther I can lift.
It's stuck on something.
Yeah, I see that. But I can't see what it's stuck on.
I gotta let it back down. I can't do nothing. There's a couple of major issues right here, and one is that I'm not strong enough by myself, and two is that it's like dragging so hard on this lip
Yeah.
that it's like making it not want to go. I guess we're gonna have to build the skid loader thing. I don't know what else to do.
I don't either.
We ran into a problem with getting those upper trusses up top. I think it was easier when I was pulling them up through the floor joist to kind of leverage the floor joist as something to pull that against. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just out of energy because I'm recovering from the flu and I cannot pull them up there by hand the way it is right now. Even with Katie trying to help from the bottom, I just can't get them up there. So a few weeks ago, we cut up this old trailer. It was abandoned on the property here when we got here, and it was just an eyesore. So we kept some of the scrap steel from it for future projects, anything that we can weld together. What we're going to try and do is make a small jib boom for the skid loader. That way we can pick up the trusses and kind of hook them on the end of the A-frame. That way they're already at least halfway up there for us, and then hopefully we can pull them by hand the rest of the way. I think it'll get us past that leverage point to where we should be able to pull them up on our own. This is a hitch receiver that we had been using for, I don't know, quite a few years to move around trailers with the skid loader, and it went onto our 3-point hitch adapter. I found out that it's just not even close to heavy duty enough for my trailers. I kind of realized that quite a while ago, except before winter started I was moving on around and it actually finally gave up and it cracked here. So where it cracked, I'm going to re-weld that back together, and I have this modified so that this axle tube can kind of sit in there, and we'll be able to take this jib boom off of the attachment plate. That way it's not just a permanent attachment that's stuck on there all the time.
I was wondering what that magnet was for.
It's just to help them stick together, but I still got to get a square and make sure it's straight. Keep in mind, this is just something that I'm throwing together from complete junk that we have laying around the property. We've got the main part of this boom laid out, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of angle iron and run it from there down to the tube just to give a little bit extra bracing right there so that it doesn't have any flex. This thing doesn't have to lift that much weight, so we're not trying to make this super beefy for lifting like a 40-foot truss or something. These A-frames are actually pretty lightweight. And what we're going to do down on the end is we have this little piece of rectangular. This is actually off of that trailer too. But what we're going to do is we're going to weld this on a slight angle to here, and this will just pick up the truss. Like the 2x10 will sandwich in there, and we'll be able to pick it up and then set it down and it just come right unhooked. I think that's going to work pretty good for what we're trying to do. It should get us just that little extra bit so that we don't have to pull them all the way by hand.
Wow. I guess so.
I think it'll hold them beams because I don't think them beams are as heavy as I am.
No. No, definitely not.
Last few might be a little difficult.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know how we're going to do those, but
I don't know, but I definitely think that's gonna work.
yeah. Yeah, that puts it up there effortlessly, so. what we're doing here is we're installing our blocking and our splice, and that way when we go to stand these upper A's up, it'll just give us something for it to rest against, and it'll kind of just sit right in here. We can clamp it and do the rest of our splice. So it makes it really easy, and if there's a little bit of wind, it's not a big deal because we can just clamp it right away and it'll hold it steady. On these splices, we're also adding these hardened wood screws in combination with the nails. That way we have enough shear strength here to ever keep this from shifting where it's spliced together.
It's like right here. What's he looking at?
I'm curious. Here, come and land on my hand.
He's looking at you. I can't see it because I'm too short, but...
Set it up in there. I want to see if we can just pick this thing up in there. Now when I start pulling it that way, you'll just help it slide down. And that's how
We're out working on the cabin again. It's been pouring down rain all day today, and it's supposed to pour down rain the rest of the week. We really don't want the tools and the camera out in the pouring down rain. We don't want them to get ruined, so we're gonna see how much we can get done in between storms. Yesterday it wasn't my job, so...
It is now. You gotta start taking on more.
Over here it looks like a bluebird day. Then over here it does not. Right.
We didn't stand up quick enough. Okay.
You're good.
You do gotta help maneuver it a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Wherever it's out of our way. I'm the one that's doing the lifting.
Yeah.
What am I hitting?
The clamp is holding it on. We're officially at the halfway point for our top A-frames, and the middle frame has a king stud just like the ends, and before we move on we have to add some bracing.
Pull it out so.
Oh, trying.
Why does the wind have to blow really hard right when I start pushing it up?
Oh, it like just made that.
How good.
Sure you did.
Amazing, ain't it? Well, look, the wind stopped for a minute.
And the sun decided to come out for 30 seconds.
What am I hitting?
That.
Okay. We're down to our last few A's, and what we're going to do is we're going to put the last piece of subflooring in to make this easier, which means we got to move our ladder from this convenient spot. So I'm going to move it over to the outside, and then we can put our last piece of subfloor down and roll the rest of the A-frames up. It's got to go out a little bit more.
It got dark on us while we were trying to put up the last few A's. We have one more to put up. Technically it's two, but what we're going to do, because they're so close together, is screw them together, and then we're hoping to be able to use the skid loader to lift the A's both at the same time, straight up to where they need to go so we can put them in place. It's 2 inches on this side and 2 inches on this side. I mean, it's a little farther over this side, like. It's just a little too far to pull it in. I mean, this side was where it needed to be. We really thought that this was going to be an easy day. We were just going to
put up the last A-frame up top there and it was going to go right into place. No, it did not go like that. We had to try several times, and we ended up having to modify the end of the boom a little bit to get it up there where it needed to be, and we had to level out the ground so that the skid loader wasn't like leaning and missing where it needed to put the A-frame at.
And then at one point it was just a little too shy of
Yeah.
reaching where we needed to reach. So then Chris had to go back through and add just a little bit more stone to what he had already leveled just to get that skid loader up like another inch and a half.
Yeah,
It was just barely big enough.
It was challenging. Really, the whole project, this whole upper A-frame part was a lot more challenging and physically demanding than I originally thought it was going to be, especially for only us two.
And unfortunately, as you can see from the video, a lot of it was just Chris. And that's because for some reason, I'm not that terrified of heights, but this absolutely terrified me to be up top.
Oh, it's
And-
a long ways up there.
And normally it doesn't bother me, but we get up there and then there's just a little bit of wind and I start shaking and I could not do it. And so we ended up having to put the subfloor in so that way I felt a little more stable being up there on the top of the bottom ace. And that really did help, but it's still, when we got to the end here, it was still super challenging for me because I just was freaked out being that close to the edge, that high up. Especially, I had to look down to see what he was doing with the skid loader, and then, of course, now I'm looking down.
It's almost
15
15
feet.
feet from
Yeah.
the floor, yeah, up there. It's pretty high off the ground.
But we got it done.
Yeah.
It's up. We still have some more to do before it's dried in.
Yeah, we still have to run a row blocking at the top of the A-frames, so I'm going to have to get up on a ladder and go up there and run that blocking. And I have to do a little bit of planing work in some of the spots where the blocking was put in. Since we had different pallets of 2x10s, some of the 2x10s were slightly narrower than others and some of them were wider than others. So I didn't realize when I was lining them up on the inside, some of them were sticking out on the outside and some of them were vice versa. So I'll have to go back through and plane those a little bit just to make it perfect so that our plywood will lay correctly on the roof.
Yep.
These bugs are
I know the
terrible
gnats
right
are really
now.
bad right now.
Where'd they come from? There was like none this whole time.
I think it's just being over here by the trees. We are really happy with how it's turning out so far, and we can't wait to get the roof sheathed and the end walls up and have it dried in,
Yeah.
ready to go.
Yeah, it won't be long now, hopefully.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.